Hey everyone, and welcome. A lot of you have been expressing that as a jungler, you feel confused and powerless after the end of the laning phase. I'm excited to announce that today we'll be fixing that. We'll be giving you custom, expert analysis on replay submitted by real players just like you, looking to improve and climb the ladder. From this, we've identified the most common mistakes players are making that are preventing them from reaching their goals. Now, we gave our subscribers here on YouTube a poll on which video you wanted us to release next, and this jungle guide overwhelmingly won. Inspired by this jungle hype, we actually have an exclusive, cutting-edge, new Korean jungle route that just went live on our website. If you guys get this video to 5,000 likes, we'll release this premium guide tomorrow, right here on YouTube. You heard me right, 5,000 likes, and you get free content. And before the laners start complaining, let's head into the comment section below and remind them, better jungler wins. As we mentioned, this guide will be focused on what to do after the laning phase ends, but when exactly is that? The end of the laning phase is marked by when the outer towers start to fall. This is typically between the 15 to 20 minute mark. Once outer towers start to fall, it opens up players to start roaming and rotating to other lanes, thereby causing an end to the traditional lane setup. So let's jump straight into it. We'll be starting our replay analysis with the lowest ELO first and the highest ELO last, so make sure to watch until the end. Our first replay comes from Silver ELO with Hecarim against Nunu. The end of the laning phase occurs around the 15-minute mark, with Hecarim's bot lane taking the enemy's bot tower, his mid laner taking the mid tower, and with the enemy top lane taking the top tower. As the laning phase comes to an end, there's one thing every jungler needs to do: identify who are your winning lanes and who are your losing ones. In this case, his AD carry Xayah is ahead over 30 CS on Sivir and has 6 kills to 0, in addition to the gold from taking the bot tower. This actually puts Xayah nearly 3,000 gold ahead of the enemy Sivir. Clearly Hecarim's bot lane is winning. If we look mid, it's Riven against Corki. The enemy Corki has around a 20 CS and 3 kill lead, but Riven got some gold from taking the tower. This puts Riven behind 1,000 gold on Corki and slightly losing. In top lane, we have Tryndamere against Renekton. The enemy Renekton is ahead 40 CS, 4 kills, and a tower. This gives him a massive 3,000 gold lead. So to summarize, Hecarim's bot lane is ahead 3k gold and is his winning lane. His mid lane is only slightly losing, while his top lane is massively far behind. So what do we do with this information? Well, your first job is to play around your winning lanes while avoiding your losing ones. Ideally, this is actually done before the laning phase comes to an end. For example, let's go back to when it's 11 minutes into the game. At this point, Hecarim's AD carry has that massive gold lead, while his top lane is severely behind. If we move our camera, we can see how weakened the enemy bot tower is, along with our own top tower. We can already anticipate the end of the laning phase nearing due to the tower health. As a jungler, you need to head towards your bot lane and help them break that bot tower. Let me explain why. Once that bot outer tower falls, it extends the length of the lane to the next inner turret. This extra distance will let Hecarim's bot lane push minion waves further, which then causes the enemy bot lane to take longer to push the wave back. This gives your bot lane extra time to work with before they have to respond to the enemy bot lane pushing to their tower. This time can be used to take dragons, invade the enemy's jungle, roam, or simply call for a lane swap. Essentially, what you need to understand is that when the outer towers are still up, it keeps your winning lane stuck there, unable to use their lead to impact the map. Once you get the enemy's towers to fall, it frees that lane to use their lead to influence the other lanes and acquire advantages for the team, not just themselves. Alright, enough theory. We now know what we should be doing, so let's see what Hecarim does. As he leaves the base, his bot lane gets a kill on the enemy Janna. If we move our camera, we can see they're completely full health. Now is a great opportunity to move bot lane and help them destroy the remaining health of that bot tower. That doesn't mean you have to gank them or even be in the lane. Just by being around the lane, you can let them do damage without the threat of being ganked by the enemy jungler. Instead, we see Hecarim move topside, valuing his blue buff too much for this phase of the game. During this time, the enemy Nunu ganks bot, and the ensuing fight prevents Hecarim's bot lane from being able to take the tower. To make matters worse, Hecarim then chooses to gank top after, the lane we've identified as losing the hardest. This results in not only Renekton surviving the gank, but later killing them both. This is one of the most common mistakes, not identifying and playing around your winning lane and instead trying to help your losing one. Eventually, later on, despite no help from Hecarim, his bot lane is able to take the tower. That being said, if we look at the map, we can see Hecarim is again looking to gank topside. With bot lane so far ahead, and now taking the bot tower, you want to go bot and gank the enemy bot if they're overextending with no tower. If they're not overextending, simply hovering near the bot lane will prevent your own bot lane from being ganked. let them push out the lane, and then rotate to take the dragon that's up. Needless to say, despite his bot lane winning the 2v2, the enemy Nunu lands a gank, once again inhibiting his bot lane from snowballing and carrying the game. A few minutes later, and we're starting to have deja vu. Hecarim is back topside as his blue buff spawns, while his winning bot lane is heading back bot, and we can see how ineffectual he's being. It's not until his bot lane rotates and we get a team fight with him do we see just how effective it is to play around your winning lane. Our next replay comes from Silver ELO with Rengar against Jax. It's around 17 minutes into the game. Currently, the top laners, Mordekaiser and Cho'Gath, are even. His mid laner is ahead around 50 CS and a kill and 2 assists, causing a 2000 gold lead. And his bot lane is behind 4 kills and 20 CS, causing them to be behind 1000 gold. Rengar does a good job playing to his winning lane, mid. He identifies the tower is low on health, hovers near it, and is able to counter gank effectively. Into then destroying the weakened tower. After this, he does a good job playing around his mid and top laner, securing the nearby herald and picking up a kill. By playing around his winning lanes, he's able to eventually convert that advantage to other areas of the map, taking both the top and bot towers. Overall, I was quite impressed with this macro play given that it's Silver ELO, and I was expecting it to be a quick end to the game. Instead, it seemed Rengar and his team didn't know what to do next. They would get into scrappy teamfights, and they'd eventually win and would be able to convert a single tower off of. Eventually able to whittle the enemy down to their inhibitor towers. This may seem like Rengar is doing the right thing, after all they're winning, but in the process they're still losing fights and giving up shutdowns now and then. It's not exactly a clean victory, and they're giving the enemy opportunities to get back into the game. I want you to take a second to think, what has Rengar avoided playing around this entire time? What's the one big objective you've yet to see come up once in this replay despite it being 30 minutes into the game? The answer is Baron. When you've acquired a lead like Rengar has and it's past the 20-minute mark when Baron spawns, you need to start playing around it. Don't fall into the trap of trying to just siege towers over and over or take teamfights over and over. So what exactly does it mean to play around Baron? Well, first is vision control. You need to establish control wards in these key locations. This denies the enemy vision of the Baron and forces them to start moving blind to check it, making for easy picks. The next step is to get deep vision in the enemy's jungle, as well as clearing vision in it with your sweeping lens. Now you've denied the enemy vision around Baron, while also having vision of them when they move to check it. This results in easy picks and winning teamfights, which can then be turned into taking Baron after, instead of just a single tower. Once you have Baron buff, then you can empower minions and begin to siege and take the towers. The lack of playing around Baron results in repeated teamfights over and over again until eventually Rengar's team starts losing their lead. Finally, the enemy team turns around the game, stealing the win. If Rengar had just played around the Baron earlier when they had a big lead, it would have resulted in a fast, sub 30-minute win. Our next replay comes from Gold ELO with Elise against Ornn. In this game, Elise's team is able to destroy both the enemy's bot tower and mid tower. Overall, every single one of Elise's lanes, including herself, is ahead of the enemy. This can be nice, since with all winning lanes, you don't necessarily have to play around anyone in particular. Despite that, we repeatedly saw both Elise and her team taking fights where they trade 1 for 1 or just straight up die, so what's going on? This all has to do with a simple yet extremely important concept: number advantages. Let's go back to that last fight. I want you to look on the minimap and identify where Elise's team members are. We see Lucian bot, Pyke top, and Tahm Kench base. That leaves Elise with only 2 members in this fight, herself and Xerath. Simultaneously, let's check the minimap and see what enemies we can see. We spot Akali mid, and Swain and Tristana bot. This leaves 2 enemies missing on the map. We only have 2 team members mid lane, while the enemy has Akali and 2 missing members. This means if we take this fight, there's potential that it could turn into a 2v3 in the enemy's favor, which is exactly what ends up happening. So how do we avoid this? You shouldn't be looking for fights while your teammates are off the map. Both Tahm Kench is in base and Pyke is recalling. If Elise simply played defensive and waited for her teammates to leave base, she would have far more team members able to react to a potential fight. We see the same problem happen moments later. Elise, Pyke, and Xerath get a pick on the enemy Swain. Feeling confident, they move to take the dragon, but if we look on the map, Tahm Kench is top while Lucian is bot lane. We can only see Teemo mid, and as we get closer to dragon, spot some of their team. There could easily be 4 enemies here, while we only have 3 team members. Sure enough, there is, resulting in a losing teamfight. Even when you have a lead, you need to identify and play around number advantages. Don't force fights just because you think you're stronger. Make sure to first establish that the fight will at least be even in numbers. Lucky enough, Elise was able to use the previous concept you just learned, Baron control, to help compensate for this hole in their game. Our next replay comes from Platinum ELO with Vi against Malphite. This one is going to be a bit different. I want to test your knowledge of what you've learned so far, so pay close attention. It's 15 minutes into the game, and after analyzing our lanes, we come to the conclusion that Vi's bot lane and mid is ahead, while their top is behind. If we check the tower health across the map, we can see that the enemy's bot tower is the lowest in health. Alright, so where do you think Vi should head to as she leaves the base? The answer is head bot, playing around her winning lane while avoiding her losing top lane. And she does just this, resulting in a winning teamfight where 3 of the enemy die. After, she's low in health and recalls. Now, as she's leaving the base, I want you to look at the minimap. Again, where should Vi go? She should be heading to the bottom side of the map, as her winning bot lane is currently pressuring the tower, as well as the dragon currently being alive. Instead, she goes top, which we now know is a mistake. Even though she gets a kill on Pantheon, we can see how the enemy bot lane is able to take their tower. This then allows them to use that tempo advantage to make a pick on mid lane. Even when the best case scenario happens and they're able to kill Pantheon, we can see how playing around your losing lane is still the incorrect play. A few moments later, Vi gets her red, and Vi's whole team is on the map except Ahri, who's heading mid. Where do you think Vi should go in this situation, and what objectives should she be looking to take? The answer is that Vi should be grouping with her winning lanes, bot and mid, in the mid lane. Additionally, the dragon is still alive, and our team could easily rotate from mid to take it. Instead, she continues to play around her top lane, and despite some positives coming from it, again, she's leaving her winning lanes to fend for themselves. This eventually results in them dying. With 3 team members dead, the enemy team looks to pressure the mid tower. What do you think Vi should do in this position? The answer is play around number advantages and give up the tower. There's 3 enemies while there's only 1 of her. Even if Vladimir rotates from top, it's 2 versus 3. We can start to see how regardless of your ELO, all of these core concepts we're teaching you in this guide apply. Once Vi's team has respawned, they finally group together pushing down mid, but eventually find themselves wasting time not really knowing what to do. Tell me, what objective should they be playing around? The answer is Baron. Sieging around turrets at this phase of the game just results in awkward teamfights that are often just coin flips, with the outcome being unpredictable. We can actually see Vi's team recognize this mistake and look to control vision around Baron once they respawn. However, instead of using that vision to make a pick on the enemy face checking, they move out into the middle of a lane and take a completely open teamfight with no element of surprise, not utilizing the vision control they just established. Alright, that's going to do it for this guide. What do you think low elo junglers are the worst at? Let us know in the comment section below. We'll also have our challenger expert answering any and all questions you guys ask in the first 24 hours of this video going live. So if you have any questions, now's your chance to get a definitive answer, so get to typing. And if you want to improve and climb the ladder, you can start by subscribing to our YouTube channel. We release high quality guides specifically designed to help you become a better player fast. In the meantime, you can check out some of our other videos, which I know you'll love. As always, good luck and have fun on Summoner's Rift.